Hi guys, and welcome to the Ipswich vs Sunderland match review. So Sunderland have come away with a 1-1 draw away from home against Ipswich. And to be fair, I'll probably take it. I will take it. Before the game, it would have been a great opportunity to get a win. Not only because Ipswich were they were a really good side, full of good players for this league and this division, but because there was a lot of other games that weren't being played, who were getting postponed left, right and centre. And there was only 2 or 3 games really actually being played in the league, so it would have been good to get that little bit of an advantage and get another 3 points on the board, but it wasn't to be. But getting into the game, and we were unchanged from last time out, and the first half for me, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I was not a happy bunny. I was absolutely infuriated. Attitude of the players and the sort of work ethic from the players, it was atrocious. I'd never seen anything like it. I expected a hard game anyway, in a difficult game from Ipswich, of course, because, like I mentioned earlier, they're a good side, they have good players, good team. They're getting a new manager in, so I expected a sort of bounce there. It was a full packed stadium there at Portman Road, so I expected it to be difficult. But the way we just sort of flopped in that first half was embarrassing. It really was, and you need to give credit to Ipswich because they really did give us a hard time. There was a high press every time we got on the ball, which was very rare. They were right in our faces. Then we were panicking and just booting the ball out of play or just smashing it forward. There was no plan B. And this is why I do get on Lee Johnson's back when I do say I'm Lee Johnson out, because he doesn't have that plan B. Against sides that do give us the high press, we have absolutely nothing to oppose that. The only thing that we do have to oppose that is simply wait until they tire themselves out. And for that 45 minutes, it was entirely all Ipswich. And, I'm not saying that Ipswich had, 5, 6, 7 clear-cut chances, because they didn't. The only real sort of clear-cut chances was the goal itself. But we did not get control of the ball. We were so soft. Like I say, there was times where there was loose balls on the pitch sitting in between 2 Sunderland players and no Ipswich players around him. But because they're so shit scared and just so expectant of an Ipswich player to come in and nick the ball, they're just kind of staring at each other. For example, say Dhannoo and Winchester, the ball would drop between him, and they're staring at each other as if to like, go on, you get it, no, you get it. And they're almost sort of eyeing each other and arguing amongst themselves, like, no, you go and get it. Then eventually an Ipswich man comes in and nicks it. No one was taking responsibility of the ball at all, and rather than just playing the ball around quickly, which we've shown in tiny spits and spurts in that first half. We can move the ball around quickly in triangles and play the ball around them, but 9 times out of 10, we're panicking, smashing it out of play the second we were pressed by Ipswich, and just wasting possession. We could not string a pass together for the life of us. Pritchard, in the middle, who's been really good in recent weeks, he was utterly horrendous in that first half. He was eventually brought off in the second. It just wasn't working out for him. There was a time, and again I mentioned this on Twitter, and it just epitomised that first half and how unbelievably soft we were. There was a time where the ball was putting towards him in the air. I know he's not the biggest of lads, but he had no Ipswich man around him at all. It was just going to drop for him, and he's jumped up for the ball. It was such a simple header, and then he's flinched, almost expecting a man to come behind him. He's flinched, then just completely missed the header. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, that absolutely epitomised the half. We were so soft. Ipswich was so up for it, and eventually they got the goal. And it was absolutely deserved. It was absolutely deserved. I think we probably had a 3 or 4 minute period where we looked interested in that first half. But other than that, they bullied us. Now, there was the one sort of controversial moment in that first half where Evans for Ipswich is gone in on Dietrich, studs up. I mean, for me, it was bare minimum a yellow card. The referee gave a free kick, and that were it. He was actually trying to get Dietrich to walk off the pitch when, in the end, he was stretchered off. He couldn't walk. He attempted to and had to go back down. He couldn't walk. He was stretchered off the pitch. And I think, I'm not going to slag off Ipswich fans too much. But, they were booing Dietrich, even though we'd just been, studs up on. And they were booing him almost like he was trying to time waste when he was literally getting stretchered off the frigging pitch. So I just thought that was a little bit of a shit move from some of the Ipswich fans anyway. But either way, they went on to score late on in that first half, and they absolutely deserved it because they were better than us. They were more up for it. Like I said, we were absolutely weak as piss. We could not string 2 passes together. None of the players seemed to be on the same wavelength. And as I say, as soon as we come up against any side with a little bit of fight and urgency and that press, we just crumbled. We have absolutely nothing. I had no idea where a goal could have possibly come from. But we do come out in the second half, when Denver Hume come on when Diaku came off, forgot to mention. When Diaku was stretchered off, hopefully he's not out for too long. I haven't seen the post-match yet, so I don't know if he is out for too long or maybe it's just an impact injury, I don't know. Because, sometimes if you get one on the shin really hard, it can just be difficult to walk on for a good 20-odd minutes. So hopefully that is the case, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But Denver Hume did come on. He went to left back. Gooch went over to the other side. And in the second half, it was better. I'm not going to say we dominated. We didn't. It was just we just competed. That's all it was, and that's all they asked for. Like I say, I expected Ipswich to come out and be a good side and make it difficult for us. I didn't expect us to go there, win 2-3, 4-0. Absolutely not. I expected it to be a really good and tight game. But the first half, we were just bent over and asked for it, and it was just so unbelievably soft. But in the second, with that little bit more physicality about us, we were leaving little challenges on them as well as they were for us the entirety of the first half, and we were just wincing in return, and bending over. Whereas the second, we're going in for it. We seemed a little bit more solid and tough and physical in challenges, and it just made it a bit more interesting game. Yeah, it made it a little bit scrappy at times. I'd rather it be scrappy than us just allowing Ipswich possession and bending over. I keep on using that term, I do apologise. But yeah, so we managed to get the equaliser. Daniel, the little bit of quality that we needed, it was absolutely fantastic. He's managed to flick it through the Ipswich player's legs and he's slid it through for Broadhead, inch perfect, and he's put it past the keeper to make it 1-1. And it's made it a really good, interesting game. Like I say, it was scrappy for the majority of the half. They had their periods as well, their phases, but so did we. There was a chance for Ross Stewart, who at times I love Ross Stewart. I'm one of his number one fans. I do really like him, but sometimes he does dilly dally on the ball. And there's a really good opportunity that probably won't be spoke about too much because it was almost a half chance. But for me, I think it was a lot more than that. He managed to wrestle him behind. He was pretty much one-on-one with the keeper. But then, at times, he's a big lad. He was a bit like a sort of Bambi on ice a little bit. You just want him to put his foot through the ball, but he's just kind of drag it left and right, and he eventually just kind of falls over the ball a bit, and it's nicked away from him. But for me, that was a massive chance in the second half with few chances. But yeah, we had plenty of opportunities with corners, which we didn't quite capitalise on. And they had a sort of late flurry of opportunities, strikes from distance in the last sort of 5 minutes. But it ended up finishing 1-1, and I'll absolutely take that 100%, because Ipswich did look the better side, particularly the first half. I think over the course of two halves, Ipswich probably do deserve the win, but the second it was a lot more even. You had Burns on one side and Aluko as well, absolutely battering Gooch in the first half and overrunning us. Hume, for me, when he came on, he looked dangerous at times. He got down to the byline and was putting balls across goal. Defensively looked a bit shaky, as he generally does at times, Hume, but going forward he just gives an outlet. The frustrating thing for me was sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes left. He brought Broadhead off, who was one of the only sort of shining lights all afternoon, and he was the lad who was really pressing him and getting him behind with his pace, and he brings on O'Brien. It was a little bit frustrating. I mean, I do get it because Ipswich were starting to step up a little bit, and they looked like they could have gone for the equaliser, but for me, O'Brien, he just doesn't cut it, maybe getting that a little bit more of physicality on, I get it, and he does show the odd nice touch, O'Brien, but that's generally followed up with a poor touch. The couple of times the ball was pinged over to him and brought it down excellently. I'm thinking, yeah, here we go, and then he'll just run it out of play, or it'll take a second touch will be, complete contrast to his first, and he'll knock it out for a throw into them. So yeah, he didn't really offer what maybe Lee Johnson believes he can or should have done. But yeah, it finishes 1-1, and I will absolutely take it. And now, if you look at the league table, because of course so many other teams didn't play due to games being postponed, we're now third in the league. We don't have any games in hand. We can't be relying on games in hand, which I prefer anyway. No one can keep saying, oh well, if we win this game, then we'll go second, or we'll go first, or what have you. We're now third in the league. I think we're 4 points behind Rotherham, who are top. We're on the same amount of games as them. Wigan are in second. I think we're a couple of points behind them, but they do have a game in hand, which of course, like I just said, that's not guaranteed a win. But still, so at least we're still putting pressure on them. We're ahead of Wycombe now. We're in third. We're in a really decent position. I think that the second half gave me a little bit of hope, because it just shows that when teams are being physical with us, we can give it back. But, how we just completely allowed them to walk all over us in the first half, that is something we need to work on. When teams do come out and press us, we need a plan B. We absolutely need a plan B. Be it, get a bit more in the face, a bit more physical, and maybe just, not play the football we're entirely used to at times. We used to play it quick on the ground, with little triangles, keep it on the floor. Sometimes when you're up against a side that do get right in your face and press, you need to play it quicker. You might need to play route one football, but don't just start humping it out of play and going soft and allowing them to walk all over you, because they might have, players that were sort of ducking out of challenges. It was infuriating in that first half. It really was, but it was good to see him, get back into it in the second. So 1-1, I'll absolutely take it. Man of the match for me, I think maybe Dan Neil. I'll give it to Dan Neil purely for the assist in the second half, and I think, you know, in the dying embers of that game, even though Ipswich were looking for a late winner, he was absolutely running his socks off, and just seeing him sprint up against their defenders, you know, trying to block clearances. He's running the length and the distance of the pitch, just trying to get the block off so they can't get the ball up the pitch. He was putting absolutely 110% in today, so I'll give it to Dan Neil. But yeah, 1-1, I'll take it. What did you guys think of the game down below, and who was your man of the match as well? But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.